Hello, my name is Dominik Sowa and this is a presentation about rules and regulations within football. To start with, I will talk about the pitch layout. Depending on the age group, the pitch size and layout is going to be different. However, when it comes to official games such as World Cup, Premier League or FA Cup games, the pitch layout and sizing stays the same. The length of the pitch has to be from 90 meters to 120 meters. When it comes to the width, it is from 45 meters to even 90 meters wide, which makes it a massive rectangle. Within this rectangle, there is two smaller rectangles called penalty boxes. They are located on each side of the pitch. The penalty box is 16.5 meters long and 40 meters wide. There is a penalty kick dot marked in the middle, 90 meters away from the goal. And the edge of the box, also called a D, ends 9 meters away from that dot. There is a halfway line in the middle of the pitch and a circle right in the middle of the pitch as well. Typically, the radius of the circle is around 9.15 meters. When it comes to professional or semi-professional football, there is three types of playing surfaces that the clubs are using. These are 3G AstroTurf, 4G AstroTurf and grass. However, 3G and 4G are pretty much the same. This is why we usually refer to them as simply playing on AstroTurf. In English football, it is legal to play on the AstroTurf, but only in National League, which is a 5th tier or lower. When a team is promoted to Football League 2, which is a 4th tier, it has to get a grass pitch. For every illegal play, tackle, or inappropriate or unprofessional behavior, you can get sanctioned. The referee can either give you a warning, yellow card, or a red card. However, you need to remember that when you get 2 yellow cards in one game, it converts into a red card and you have to leave the pitch. It is legal to use your body in order to win a battle for the ball. However, if your attack is too hard, if you use your hands or legs in order to slow the opposition down or force him to make a mistake in an illegal way, it is a foul. Also, you aren't allowed to touch the ball with your hands unless you are a keeper and you are in your own penalty box. You can get a yellow card or red card depending on how did the handball affect the game. When it comes to number of players, each team is allowed to have up to 11 players on the pitch, including one goalkeeper. Legally, they can also start a game with 7 players, but not less than that. Otherwise, the game finishes as a forfeit. Depending on the competition, a manager can bring up to 18 players, 7 to be sat on the bench as substitutes. However, in some competitions, such as National League, manager can only take 16 players, and in this case, 5 of them would be substitutes. In competitive football matches that are being played under FIFA licenses, each team is allowed to substitute up to 3 players, any time in the game. However, recently a new rule was added where teams can sub 4th player in the extra time. Substitutions can only take place when the ball is out of play and it has to be supervised by the official. This means that if a manager wants to take the player off, he will have to wait until the ref says it's okay to do so. An official football match consists of 2 halves, 45 minutes each, which means that the whole game lasts for 90 minutes plus additional time that the referee can add, depending on the amount of stops and breaks in the regular time. In some competitions, such as World Cup or Champions League knockout stages, a game can go into extra time, which means that that 2 15-minute halves will be added into the game. In the regular time, players have 15 minutes of break between each half, and in the extra time, players get around 5 minutes of break for physio checkups and regaining lost fluids. There is a variety of different equipment that can be used in order to get better at this game. However, in order to play a match, the only things that are needed are ball, corner flags, kits, goalkeeper gloves, football boots and shin pads. Referees also have to have their own equipment to be able to referee the game. This would be 2 watches, cards, which is a yellow and a red card, notepad, pencils, and etc. Also, linesmen have to have their own flags. When it comes to facilities, in higher leagues and competitions, massive stadiums are used. There is access to changing rooms for officials as well as players. There are toilets, showers, as well as parking spots for the fans. Before the game starts, a referee has to check if the pitch, goals, and the net are safe to use and to be played on. Also, each of the players have to wear protective equipment, which in this case means that they have to wear shin pads. Also, players aren't allowed to wear any rings, earrings, and necklaces while playing the game. Each team comes with a team of physios with first aid qualifications, so if anything serious happens to players, they can be assessed really quickly. During the game, referee watches the game and punishes players for dangerous tackles or illegal plays that can harm the opponent, to ensure the game is being played safe. Also, there's a lot of stewards watching the crowd of fans, so they can run in and potentially. Also, there's a lot of stewards watching the crowd of fans, so they just can't run on the pitch and potentially harm players on the pitch. The only way to actually score and get a goal is to get the ball inside the goal. It doesn't have to touch the net. The only rule is that the entire circumference of the ball has to cross the goal line. In many competitions, goal line technology is used, which automatically sends a message to the referee that the ball has crossed the line. As soon as the ball crosses the line and the referee reviews the goal and scoring situation, he points at the certain center circle and gives a goal. There is different methods of victory in football. However, it doesn't mean that the game has to end with a winner. Many times in league competitions, game finishes as 0-0 or 1-1, and both teams share the victory by getting 1 point each. Coming back to the methods of victory, in order to win, a team has to finish the game with more goals scored than the opposition. So for example, if a red team plays a blue team, and the red team has 2 goals, but the blue team only scored 1, the referee blows his final whistle and the red team has won the game. However, it's not always like that. In some competitions, such as World Cup, if the game finishes as 1-1, it then goes to extra time. Extra time is being played with the same rules as a regular time match. However, if there is no winner in extra time, the game then goes to penalty shootout. Each team has 5 shots at the goal, and the team with more goals after 5 shots wins the game. If there is no winner after 5 shots, each team will have 1 more shot each until there is a winner. There is a number of officials that are required to successfully play a game of football. It starts from the main official referee. All of the decisions are coming from this guy. He has other referees to help him out, but he's the one making the final decisions in every single situation. His main role is to enforce the laws of the game. These are the ones listed previously among other rules. He's also the main timekeeper. He checks how long the game has been played for and how many minutes he should add. He also keeps a record of the whole game. He makes a match report in which he includes information such as bookings or goals. Also, he's the one supervising the restart of or start of the play. So, for example, free kicks, kickoff, and etc. These were his roles. However, he also has many responsibilities. His main responsibility is to ensure that the whole game is being played in a safe environment. That's why he checks the nets and the pitch before the game starts. Also, he is responsible for maintaining a professional relationship with players and other referees. The main official would have the hardest job in the world if he didn't have any assistant referees. Their roles are deciding whether the ball left the pitch or not. Also, assistant referees decide which team touched the ball last and who is entitled to throw-ins, corners or goal kicks. Also, their main role is to look if a player is on offside position or not. If he is, it will be signalized and the game will be stopped for a free kick. Also, during a penalty kick, a linesman will look if the keeper jumps off his line before the kick. He also looks if the ball crosses the line, deciding whether it is a goal or not. However, now most leagues are using the goal line technology system, which shows when the ball crossed the line or not, which makes the assistant's life easier by doing one job for him. To complete the team of referees, 4th official is needed, and he has his own roles and responsibilities. One of his main roles is to supervise the substitution procedure. He makes sure it is being done within the rules of the game, which means he checks the boots, protective equipment, kit, and makes sure that the player isn't wearing any jewelry. Also, he's the one that lets previously injured player go back on the field again after a sign from the main official. He also supervises the replacement of the balls. One of his most important roles is also to keep track of the minimum amount of minutes that has to be added at the end of each half. He also informs the referee about any irresponsible behavior from players and or coaches that are sat on the bench or even on the pitch when referee doesn't see it. Yeah, so now moving on to applying the rules in the actual game. The first match scenario that I'll be using is an offside. If the person who receives the ball is behind the last defender when the pass is played, he is then found offside. When this happens, the linesman puts his flag up, but only when the receiver of the pass makes contact with the ball. So if the pass is being played, but the person who's offside doesn't touch the ball and moves away, and then his teammate who was onside before the pass was played gets the ball, offside is not given. There are also some exceptions. For example, if a person takes a shot and his teammate who is offside blocks keeper's view, offside can be given, even if he doesn't touch the ball. When any of this happens, linesman will stop and put his flag up. The referee will then blow his whistle and award the opposite team with a free kick. Another match scenario which I got is a foul. When a defender goes for a slide tackle but completely misses the ball and instead of the ball he hits opponent's legs, a foul is given. The assistant referee will then wave his flag and the main official will then use his whistle to stop the play and award a free kick to the opposite team and go check on the player's health condition. If needed, he will allow physios to run on the pitch and assess the player. If nothing major happens, referee will then punish the player depending on how bad the tackle was. He can either just let the other team play from the foul without saying anything, or he can give the opposite player a warning, yellow card or a red card. The last match scenario is a foul throw. If a player who takes a throw in places at least one of his legs across the line onto the pitch, it is a foul throw. Also, if a player drops the ball before throwing it forward, it is also a foul throw. Some people might think that when a player throws a ball and it doesn't enter the pitch, a foul throw would be given, but it is not. A ball has to enter the pitch before leaving it in order for a foul throw to be given. Also, rules say that the ball should be thrown from behind player head, which means that he can't throw it like a rugby ball. Also, both hands have to be on the ball. If a player throws the ball with one hand, it is also a foul throw. Thank you.